Okay, so welcome everybody. And this is our all hands of February. And this is session is being recorded, so feel free to keep your camera off if you want. If you want to turn on, that's fine too. So my name is 𝗥𝗲𝗹𝗲𝘃. I am a developer advocate at Timescale, and I am from Brazil. You can find me on Twitter as 𝗥𝗲𝗹𝗲𝘃. And yeah, so I was expecting to have Chris here, but Chris, for some reason, he didn't join yet. Maybe he will join a bit later. And but we also have James. James is our leading the developer advocacy team, and we always talk about what we have new in the release. So since the last meeting in the third week of January, we have two releases, 2.9.2 and 2.9.3, and we don't have any like meaningful feature being added, but several bugs were fixed. And I don't think like it's worth for us to go through all these bugs because they are minor cases and very specific. But we strongly recommend you to also update to the latest version, because we have some kind of bugs that are like security issues. So they can expose some vulnerabilities, and it's always best to be on the latest version because of it. And we also have some people that were reporting bugs, so thank you, 𝗥𝗲𝗹𝗲𝘃 and also 𝗔𝗯𝗃𝗂𝗁 for just reporting things that are quite important. And yeah, so that's the list of 2.9.3. We also have 2.9.2, and I didn't put all the fixes that are included in both versions, but only the most important ones. And we encourage everybody to be on helping us with voting the community requests. So if you are part of our Slack, you can see it. We always post every month what are the top voted requests, and we encourage people to vote to also be helping us to prioritize the next features for community. So that's quite important. And as you can see here, allow insert, update, and delete on compressed chunks is the top voted, and it's a work in progress. So it's very good to have it. And we also have a work in progress for the second one, and a few others are like still in research. And yeah, so we don't have any question brought in advance, but we have some participants that will be asking live. So Sri and Ted, feel free to ask your questions, and we are going to try our best to help you here.
Okay, thank you so much, guys. That's really great. Our question is, we have a Timescale extension that was added on top of Postgres, and we were using a multi-node setup. So one server has access node and the other server has two data nodes. And we're trying to access data from or run the query from access node, which has the table that exists in the data node. So, but what happens is when we run this query, it is not using index scan from the data node tables. It is doing a custom scan. So when we are trying to fetch millions of rows, it's getting stuck, and it takes minutes and minutes, and it doesn't show
up. So let me just see if I understood the question. So you have a multi-node setup, and then when you are querying some specific query that just reaches millions of lines in a single data node, what happened there?
Yeah, it's doing a custom data node scan instead of index scan.
Okay.
So we believe that it is causing the delay. If we go with the index scan, it might be faster, right?
And
so we would like to know how we can use index scan.
Okay, and do you know if maybe that's a limitation of distributed timescale, because maybe we need to replace the index scan with this custom scan?
I don't know if it is a limitation. Ted, do you have any idea? Hello, Ted, you there? Ted, you are on mute.
Yeah, without the camera, it's hard to know if you are muted or trying to say. So,
can I just ask a question? Did you say that you had one access node and one node with two data nodes on it? Is that what you said? Did I hear that correctly?
That's right.
What's the rationale behind that? I'm just wondering if under any circumstance you're going to get great performance. You kind of need to have the data nodes on different nodes rather than on the same node, so they're not competing for resources. Is this like a proof of concept, or is this?
No, it's we are running on the large scale data loads. It's running on production as well.
Yeah, okay.
So
just
earlier we used to have Postgres, so later we migrated to Timescale. And then initially we didn't use distributed hypertables. We were just kind of using only one node with hypertables on it. But later we have to, we have a lot of time series data coming in, and we have to separate that into data nodes. That's where we went into multi-node architecture. Okay. So, and we kind of have one server with one access node, and the other server with a data node. Right.
What's the ingest rate that you're working with? Like how much data is coming in?
I think it's millions of rows, you can say. They have a huge amount of time series data.
Millions of rows a second.
Yeah, not second, every 5 minutes, you can say. Every 5 minutes.
Yeah, okay. If we understand the ingest throughput, we can also try to guess something.
I mean, it's not a problem with the ingestion because ingestion is fine. We were able to ingest the records. It's not too much that we are blocking the insertion rates. It was able to insert all the records within a time, but it's only with the data rendering process. So while doing the rendering, the queries takes a lot of time.
Yeah, okay. Can you share the query?
I can share my screen.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I guess you have the right to share, right?
Yeah.
I'm sharing. Can you guys see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes.
Yes, we can see the database console thing.
So this is a query. Okay. We have this specific table in the data node, and all the other tables in the access nodes, meaning to say this table and this table and this table. So we want to join these data node table versus access node tables, and using this time range and using these other attributes, and we want to fetch data. So when we do this and we do explain, you see this explain, it's doing a custom scan here, you see on this table. And rest all the tables are using index scan.
So
Why do you
Okay.
need to select the node ID? Was it not automatically based on the data that you were querying?
These are variables actually. These are variables from the dashboard. So you want to fetch only, last 2 hours of data. Right? Show me all the nodes, or we call it as devices also. These devices are huge number of devices that exist across the region. And it has metrics, each metrics in the sense, you can say interface, link utilization, CPU, memory, session. So those kind of time series data we have. And every time we do the past 2 hours or past day or past 1 week, right? Does it answer your question?
Got it. So the node ID is not like the access node or data nodes ID. This is
No.
the node
If you
ID
see
from
here,
your. Okay. I thought you were trying to optimize timescale and pre-selecting is the node that's going to fetch the data. No, that's not the case. Thank you. Got it.
so you see rest of all these queries, it does index scan, right?
Mhm.
Right.
But when it connects to the data node table, it's doing the custom scan. This is the one that I'm asking is a lab, but we have a production where it has huge records and it's doing a custom scan, and the queries are taking forever. It's like 7 or 10 minutes or 20 minutes.
Yeah, okay.
So
Can we see the
we
definition of
want to
that
know
table?
how we can. I'm sorry, sir. Can you repeat that?
Can we see the definition of that table, like how it's set up and what the indexes are? Or you can just tell us what's
Definition
the
of the
index
table.
on? Yeah.
It's just a small time series table. You have times, you have other attributes, and you just add a value.
Yeah. Then go back to the explain plan for a second. If you go back to the explain, oh, it's down there. Cool. Oh, no, go back to
Explain. Yeah.
The query. Yeah, there we go. So we've got. I'm just making sure you're definitely hitting all the bits of that index.
Yeah.
So the index was API node. Go back for a second to the other one, sorry. Yeah.
The primary key there is node ID, KPI ID, and index ID and time. I think we are.
So we have all these indexes.
Oh, we have more indexes, right? Okay. Have you tried to just create a materialized CTE before you do this? Because you can just get the line 12, the select ID from KPI calc, and then like move it to the beginning and just say with materialized, and then just call a short name for this materialized city that is like when you say with materialized space and then pass some query, it's like this custom table expression, but this is done just once when you use the materialized before. I would just do it for the line 12, not for everything, just like for the sub select that you have in the line 12. So for example,
Okay.
you could, yes, this one. So you can call it like a KPI ID, something, KPI calc ID, something
No,
like
this
that.
one actually, this one we can change. We can give any ID also.
All right.
Even we tried
okay.
this one.
Even state
So it doesn't
ID
have to refer
is
the
very
same.
slow. So the problem is not with that query. And
Yeah, no. It
okay.
does the same data node or custom scan.
Okay, so this is data node scan. Yeah.
So even if you see, if you directly access this table, right, without joining any other tables,
Yep.
it does the same scan. If you see, there's a custom scan. Because I'm not joining any of the access node tables, right? We want to have this as an index scan. So we believe it comes faster when we are dealing with millions of rows.
Is that, how long does that query take?
More than 10 minutes.
Okay. How many rows in that table? On those
So
tables?
I think it goes to billions, I think, billions of rows.
Okay.
It's a
And-
distributed hyper table, right? It exists
Yeah, yeah.
across 2 data nodes.
2. So when it returns, how many do you get from that query roundabout?
Millions, probably 150 million, 200 million.
Yeah, cool. Okay. That's quite odd.
Yeah, probably the multi-node feature is a feature that we have a team that's responsible, and we would probably need some multi-node member here to help us to understand this, or even go deeper into this data node scan and how it works behind the scenes. But as you mentioned, like this distinct is very long, and if you try to just check this this explain with the 𝗥𝗲𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃, and you see that you also have a custom scan there, and this is still like for example, you are using in your explain the distinct, you are using a single week. In the previous example, you have like 2 weeks of data, and in the line 18, and the line 19 is just 1. And can you just use the explain, analyze, and buffers? So just to make sure we
This one.
yeah. Oh yeah, this is not the count, but the query that you were using inside it. So yeah. Yeah.
What is it for this?
Yes, exactly. So maybe the issue is with the index, like as you are getting like distinct KPI, node ID, and index ID, probably like if you have a index by these things, it would help these 3 attributes at the same time. And maybe the order of them will also impact, because, for example, let's say if you have let's say 1,000 node IDs, as you mentioned, and then like maybe it will need to do like a custom filter, index filter, and filters are not very fast. And if the indexes are very huge, they will need to scan the entire index to find information. So it's almost the same as going to the table, right? And so as far as I understood, the cardinality of your data is very high, right? So you have a lot of KPIs and a lot of nodes.
Yeah.
Just to double check, you have an index on time by itself, right?
Yeah, index on time is also there. So just the time, we have KPI node, KPI and time, KPI index and time, node KPI and time, node KPI index and time.
Yeah,
No,
but
and we have index on time also.
Yeah, you have an index on time by itself.
Yeah, but we don't have an index that is for this composition, right? So you have the thing is that you are filtering by node ID, so you would need more than one index to do this if you are going. So the current plan is still not running, right? It's still running. So, but we are going to see it probably that, for example, maybe if you do like select star from these as you did the count previously, you will use the first index by time. But if you do distinct KPI ID with node ID and index ID, maybe like the size of the index is still very huge, right? And that's the problem. Would you mind to just like reduce your filter? Maybe you can reduce it to like 1 hour of data or something that maybe we can see more deeply where it goes. But yeah. Yeah, that's maybe that will run fast and we will be able to see it.
Well, that's still quite a few days. Just make it 1 day.
Oh yeah, because the size will be so minimal. Got it.
So make that like 12. Yeah.
We have only 13 and 14 days, 2 days of data. So I'll just pick.
That's fine.
8/13/00 to 14/23/59.
Just don't explain without the analyze.
Yeah.
Oh, just to explain. Yeah, analyze will execute this query.
Now the database is purely busy with the previous queries.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the thing that I'm not sure about is whether that's normal or not. I haven't used Moninode myself enough to know whether that's what you'd expect for that query. Is it using indexes for other tables in the one above? It's using it for I, right? Which is on the same table. No, KPI index. Can you?
These tables exist on the access node.
Oh, so that's the KPI result is the only distributed table.
Right, that's right.
Yeah, cool. Have you opened up a GitHub issue?
Maybe he missed you. Isri, are you there?
Yeah, I'm there. I didn't get the question. Can you repeat that?
Have you opened up a GitHub issue?
No, we haven't.
Yeah, so there's two ways
actually.
Yeah, because multi-node's quite specific. I think that's probably going to be the easiest way for us to get it in front of the multi-node team to find out if this is expected or not.
Okay.
Yeah, and also if for example, if we know that you are going to submit a question about multi-node and more details you bring in advance, like we have a forum that we announce office hours every month. So you can go to that forum announcement and add your question there. So if we get it in advance, we can just try to pick up someone from the multi-node team and bring them together with us. And that will also help us to solve your issue. As we didn't know the question in advance, we couldn't help too much. Sorry about that, but yeah.
That's okay. So we'll raise a GitHub request then, and then we'll see how we can get the response. And you're saying when is the next meeting going to happen?
They're every month, but you can also find us on Slack. I see that you're both members on Slack.
So, can I ask questions in Slack also? Because through Slack, they say I need to have a TimescaleDB account.
No. We have another Slack for community. So it's if you go to timescale.com/community, you find a link for our Slack. And then in the Slack, we have a multi-node channel. So you can even go specifically there. The multi-node team is watching this channel. They will probably help you much better. If you post it on the forum, I can also be just finding someone internally that can help to answer. And yeah, okay. So yeah, we will try our best to help you in this.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Can you share me that link where I can go to the Slack channel?
Yes. Just a moment.
I did timescaledb.slack.com and it says
Timescale
the email address
community. Yeah, just 1 second. So here is the community link, and inside the community link, you can see here the Slack one. Yeah, so it's slack.timescale.com. Yeah, you should be able to join this channel. And you're welcome there. We are answering questions every day, and you can even learn with other people, and we'll help each other. So you'll find other people using multi-node, and maybe they will also help you to better understand. I see some people, they have similar they were exposing similar queries with like this custom scan for multi-node. So yeah, maybe you can even ask, find some similar issue from the past and learn from there. So yeah, you are welcome.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure about this. I'm not sure about this at all, but I think the scan that you're seeing is the scan that's expected. I think that's what shows up when you do a multi-node scan. But why it's taking so long is another question. It shouldn't be taking that long. Okay. I'm just spinning up a test cluster at the moment to see if I get the same thing.
In the meanwhile, do you have any other questions? Any other thing that we can help?
I mean, do you have any best practices on how we can set up this multi-node setup?
Yeah.
Or any documentation or any information?
Yeah, my first question, which I was kind of getting at before, is I'd love to understand a bit more about why, or what was the tipping point that made you feel like you needed multi-node? It seems like you've got quite a low ingestion rate. So if we're talking a
lot
million,
of ingestion, it's going to grow in the future. We're going to get a lot of nodes added in the coming months.
What's your target? What's your target ingestion rate?
I mean, I know about number of devices that's going to be there, thousands of devices, and pushing the data every 5 minutes.
Yeah, look, the reason I'm sort of focusing on this is because you said you were doing, did you say you were doing 1 million inserts every 5 minutes?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's...
Yeah, this is not that much.
That's like 300. Yeah, we would say that was very low. That's definitely not. So multi-node is more like when you're doing 1 million a second, which is obviously very, very far away from what you're doing. One of the things that we see with customers the most is that people try and use multi-node when they don't need to, because they think that multi-node's just something they should be using, but it is a lot of added complexity and it comes with a lot of trade-offs. So I would suspect for something of the size that you're describing, I'm not sure you should be using multi-node, unless you're going to say, we're going to do, I don't know. Well, do you have a number? Like, do you know roughly how much you're intending to grow, or how much you're intending to grow your ingest workload? Like,
I
do you
don't have
think you'll
exact number
be
right now, but it's going to be.
no, but like a guess?
You're expecting about how many records we insert every 5 minutes, like that?
Yeah, or like, do you think you're going to have like 10 times more throughput that you have now, or like 100 times more, 1,000 times more?
No, it's not 100 times more. Currently, what we have maybe probably 3x the current
cool.
load.
And when you were originally running that without multi-node, were you getting problems with ingest? Or you just used
I don't
multi-node?
think so. We don't have, I mean, so the scale that we are having right now, we haven't seen it before. So we didn't experience these problems when we are having less ingestion rates. But now it's a big deployment, and then the scale of data ingestion is very huge. So now so now we thought it's going to be multi-node setup, and we distributed the hyper table of this time series table, and then we ran into problems as we are starting to scale.
Yeah, okay. I would heavily question whether you need to be using multi-node there. I don't feel like you're anywhere near the scale that you would need to have to justify multi-node. And obviously, if you can run on a single timescale node, that's much better for everyone involved. It's even though multi-node is called multi-node, it's actually less durable because all of the nodes have to be up for you to do writes and reads.
So you're saying we can have just single node without distributed hypertable, it can perform very better?
Yeah, like if you, and I'm just trying to find. So look, well, how big are the nodes? I suppose that's another question. Are they large machines or small machines?
Oh, they are large machines.
Yeah. So
I have database expert. He's trying to talk. I could not, because he has problems with mic. So he knows
as an
more
example, I just posted a blog we did recently into the chat. So if you have a look at that, it's like comparing RDS to Postgres, which is obviously not super relevant here. But if you look at the Timescale cloud instance, which is obviously our cloud system, but still you should be seeing sort of similar performance to that. 8 CPUs, that's getting a mean ingest time of 532,000 rows per second. And you're trying to ingest 1 million divided by 60 divided by 5. You're trying to ingest like 3,000 rows a second.
Yeah,
So,
having a benchmark I did, like a Raspberry Pi 3 can ingest 20,000 rows per second. So yeah, in a single node. So and for example, my MacBook Pro M1, it runs 500,000 per second too. So like just considering a very simple schema, right? But yeah.
So I think let's definitely get to the bottom of what's going on with multi-node. But I would say for the use case that you're describing, unless you're thinking you're going to grow by 100 times, I wouldn't be thinking about multi-node. How big is the hypertable at the moment? Like in storage?
How big? Probably 20 terabytes, I think.
Okay, so you do have quite a bit of data.
Yeah. So Tad, what did you say? How much it is?
For the 2 days of data on the data node or on the?
On the data node, on the production server, how big is that?
I'm looking. 1 second. On the data node, we have, this is the partition. 2 days of data, 56 gig.
It's a 2 days of data, it's 56 gig.
And how many days of data are you targeting storing?
30 days.
Yeah, okay, so that's times 15. So I mean, that's still under a terabyte of data. So that's half a terabyte per data node. I really think I'm sorry, this isn't really the answer to your question, but I think this is you're prematurely optimized by jumping to multi-node. I think you're going to get much better performance. You're not going to have to make the trade-offs that you had to make to get to multi-node, and it's going to be a much more durable system if you just use a single timescale instance. Having said that, still super happy to help you work out what's going on with multi-node. But this is, yeah, as I say, this is something that we see quite commonly. So people sort of read the docs. We probably need to work on this on our end, but they see that multi-node's there and then they sort of jump to multi-node before they need it.
I think we're finding that to be true too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would, what kind of batch sizes do you insert in?
Kind of, excuse me, batch?
Yeah, when you insert your records, how many do you batch up in one insert or one copy?
Don't know. I don't know. We got another team that did that.
Yeah, okay. I mean, that's the only thing I think of. But maybe if you're inserting things row by row, then that would have looked really bad.
But James, we don't have any issues with ingestion right now. It's only with the way you fetch the data. Yeah,
but what I'm saying is if you weren't using multi-node, then that would just work. Not that it shouldn't work in multi-node, but multi-node comes with a whole bunch of other caveats that you're going to run into sooner or later, I would imagine. And also it makes the system less durable. So you've got to have all three of those nodes up to query data. And unless you're doing like, even like multi-million rows per second, like 500 million or something. And you've got sort of terabytes of data. Even the terabytes of data isn't really a tipping point. It's more the ingestion rate. There's no need for multi-node.
Okay.
Now my cluster just came up, so let me have a quick look.
That, do you have any other questions?
This has been interesting. No.
Yeah. Yeah. So definitely jump into the Slack forum. Jump into the multi-node channel. Sort of say hello. We'll both see you there, and we can talk you through. I'll spin up my cluster, but it's going to take another few minutes. So I'll run a similar query, and then I can paste a plan of what I see there, and we can compare to your plan.
Sure.
Cool. Any other questions? Any other, like, how, apart from that, how's the timescale experience been?
Overall, good. Everybody's excited about it.
Cool. And did you say you were storing KPI data? Was that, did I read that right before?
Yeah,
yes.
It's a metrics data. Yeah, yep.
Cool.
Taking the data from them, like routers and devices like that, networking analysis.
All right. Okay. Cool.
Nice.
What's actually writing the data into Timescale, if you don't mind me asking? Is it coming directly from SNMP or something else, or? That's the level you're talking about,
we
right?
have
like
Kafka. Yeah, I mean, we got the data in Kafka and we read it. We have consumers that's reading from Kafka topics and then ingesting into database.
Okay, cool.
And what is the benchmark to going to multi-node scale? Is it like billions of rows per second, or do you have the benchmark?
Yes, so multi-node, yeah, up definitely on the higher side, so up towards 1 billion. That's what you'd be thinking about it.
Okay.
I'm just trying to find the blog post. Hang on a sec.
And one more thing, I tried to access this Slack. It's asking for, if you don't have timescaledb.com email address, contact the workspace administrator at TimescaleDB community for an invitation. How can I do that?
Sorry, I missed your question. Would you mind to repeat?
I tried to join the Slack channel. It says join
Yeah.
TimescaleDB community on Slack.
Mhm.
But if you don't, it says that if you don't have timescaledb.com email address, contact the workspace administrator at Timescaledb community for an invitation. And there is no link on how can I reach the administrator.
That's very weird because it's supposed to be open. Let me just share my screen here just to show you, for example. So you can see here, if I go to community, and then here you can see Slack. And then when I say connect to Slack here, it will point you to timescaledb.slack.com, right? And that's the page that you are trying?
Yeah, but it doesn't show me this SSO page. It's I think you have timescaledb.com email address. Maybe it's going to this way.
No,
but if you open the same thing in the
this is open because like this is a community of like more than 10,000 people, and they are all using their custom email address. Just confirm that this is the right one, because, for example, let me open a new tab here. Just a second. I'm going to
Yep, it shows me the same page.
Yeah, exactly. So if you try signing with Google, maybe, but you can just say here sign up you need. So yeah, let me just say here, because, for example, in my case, I'm using my personal account, and yeah, let me just see. Okay, but this is how it works. So you should probably be able to sign in from that page. And
I got you. Yep, it's asking me for email for code. I think
it's suppository. It's too long a time that I did it. To be honest, I really don't know if something changed, but this is open. It's like we have like people joining every day, so it's supposed to work. So just give it a try with your email, and yeah.
Okay, thank you so much.
Welcome. Okay, just one more thing here. We also, I just wanted to share that in the upcoming week we have 𝗥𝗲𝗹𝗲𝗃 India in Bengaluru, and several timescalers will be there. So if you are around, please join us there. I will be there too, and I'm going to travel from Brazil tomorrow, so I will be there. And the beginning of March, we will also be on Scale 20X at LA. So if anyone is around or wanted to say hello, we will have a few timescalers there too. So that's the next two events that we will be present. And yeah, so thanks for joining. Now the Timescale office hours, the open office hours is in the third Wednesday, and if anytime you wanted to chat, we are also always available on Slack. So feel free to reach us there. And thanks for joining today.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much.
Cool.
Bye.
Yeah, and feel free to DM us on the forum, on the Slack, if you need to. That's fine.
Yeah, I do. Thank you so much.
Cool. Thank you.
Thank you.
James. Bye.